Everybody, Bennett for the Better Podcast, and welcome to Blood Bowl Season 3. So it's here, the brand new edition of Blood Bowl is up and available for pre-order, which means you are all going to be seeing it all over the internet without a shadow of a doubt. So we've got the big old book, and we've played a fair few games of this edition now already. So while there is a ton of stuff that's changed, a ton of little things that have changed, and probably some stuff we have yet to figure out or notice as well, what we've done is we've put basically a quick video of the key changes for Blood Bowl Season 3. So if you have been playing Blood Bowl 2020 and loving it, watch this video and you will be mostly caught up to speed. With the exception of one big thing, we're not going to cover all of the team changes here, because every team got some changes. So there is a video out now also on the channel, 30 teams in 30 minutes, where we look at every roster in Blood Bowl right now, so we can kind of look at what's changed and what's adapted. And we're doing team guides for every teams as well. So if you follow the channel, if you're a member or Patreon, you'll get them early. But we're going into detail on every single team for this edition, so that if you're like, do you know what, I'd love to pick up that team, you can get brought up really quickly on what's changed and what's good. All right, so the key changes for Blood Bowl 2025. As a grown adult, I've prepared a slideshow for you. It's not a spreadsheet. It would normally be a spreadsheet. Okay, so this edition, the rules have been tidied up really nicely. Like the way it's written, the way stuff's clarified, the way it's organized. It's really quite good. Like, there's still going to be some questions, there's still going to be some typos, there's still going to be some stuff where we go, do you mean this, do you not mean that? But it's a massive book with 100 and something pages. There's going to be stuff that comes up. It's just the nature of gaming. Plus, we're gamers, so we're going to find ways to break the system anyway. But a few small bits that I figured we'd touch on first. So rather than just put the overhead on and read the whole book out to you, I kind of thought we'd summarize bits. So one thing has changed on the kickoff table that is quite good, and I think they already covered this in an article, is that Officious Ref is now gone, which, oh no. Right, it's been replaced by Dodgy Snack. So both coaches roll a d6. The coach that rolled the lowest, or both coaches in the end of the result of a tie, randomly select one of their players, and on a 2+, they get a Dodgy Snack event. So their movement and armor are reduced by 1 for that drive, and on a 1 they basically get put back into reserves. So it's way toned down. So instead of getting sent off for the whole game, you either get -1 movement and armor, or you have to skip a drive. It sucks, but it sucks way less than it used to. The other thing, which we've also got on the screen here, is that prayers to Nuffle, it's so important, I've put it twice, have changed. They are no longer part of the cheering fans result. The cheering fans result now is if you roll, your opponent rolls, you add the number of cheerleaders. If you basically, if you win that roll, or if both coaches get the same, your first block on the following turn, you will have an extra assist, which can be really, really, really useful. Actually, we've not rolled it yet, but that's going to be very useful, especially if you're setting up chain blocks on the line. So good one to notice there. But the prayers to Nuffle are now a 10k inducement. I will be honest with you, when it comes to the prayers to Nuffle, we didn't really use them on the channel because it introduced a lot of stuff to track. And obviously we play games with videos, so having a load of extra statuses and stuff was something we didn't really follow up on. Like, he's got a stiletto, he doesn't have a stiletto. We didn't go into that. So definitely something to be aware of, especially if you're playing League, because they're now 10k a piece, which actually means they're pretty affordable. So when it comes to you know, filling in that gap, if you're down team value versus your opponent, you can pick up a couple and maybe you'll get some good ones. They look mostly unchanged. But yeah, 10k a piece, you can have up to 3 of them. Not bad. Right, the last small bit is stalling. Now, I say a small bit, it may be that for some of you this is a really, really, really big thing, but stalling, if you watch the games going up on the channel over the next few weeks, or join us for live streams, I'm sure it will come up. If you have a guy with the ball who can score without rolling any dice, and they choose not to score, or your turn ends, basically your opponent can roll a dice, and if the dice roll is equal to or greater than the turn number, they get hit by a rock. Now, what that does mean is that stalling on turns 7 and 8 isn't really going to affect you, but if your opponent starts stalling on turn 2 or 3, it's very likely that the crowd are going to be like, no, let's keep playing Blood Bowl. I do like this. I do think it should be a D8. Nah, I actually think it should be a 2d6 roll because stalling is rubbish, but I love to see that's been brought into the rules at all. All right, some mechanic changes. So secure the ball is a new action that you can take. Now, Games Workshop have covered this already on the website, but it's a really important one. So instead of making a pass action or a handoff action or a blitz, your player can choose to secure the ball. Now, there's only one thing you need to check. Is there an opposing player within 2 squares? If there's not, then your player can go up there and just pick up the ball on a 2+. Now, once they've done that, whether it's successful or not, their activation ends. If it's unsuccessful, it's a turnover. There's a couple of bits here that we are probably going to need FAQ'd. So it really clearly states that Sure Hands doesn't give you a reroll on that, but we don't know if Rain, the way it's written at the moment, is -1 to pickup rolls. It doesn't affect the agility test, it just affects the pickup roll, so we think that Rain is also going to affect a secure the ball roll. But again, might be one of those things that we need a little bit of an FAQ just to clear up. Now, how it plays out, there are players like big guys and players with the unsteady skill that cannot use secure the ball, but how it actually plays out on the pitch, it gives you an extra option. Now, secure the ball is not going to be one of those skills that you use every turn, but you will probably use it once a game, maybe. It just means that actually when you get a chance to pick up the ball and you're willing to run out of movement and end it, it just gives you a better shot. And it's going to be really useful for those teams with Edge 3+ linemen with no skill, Edge 4+ linemen with no skill. But I like the fact that Black Orcs can use it. I think that's phenomenal. Like, my Black Orc isn't really picking up the ball and running with it anyway because they're movement 4. So it's kind of just being able to secure that ball and take that 4+ and turn it into a 2+ is really, really, really beneficial. Now, it's not going to come up all of the time. It's just a really great option. Oh, Black Orcs are still movement 4. Rubbish, but at least they can secure the ball. All right, a couple of other mechanic things. Wildly accurate. Right, wildly inaccurate is gone from this edition. So when you make a pass action, you're only going to get 3 outcomes. 1, it's accurate. 2, it's a fumble, and a fumble will be a result of a 1 or a natural 1. So if you're making a pass at -2, a roll of 1, 2 or 3 is simply going to be a fumble, which means it scatters a d8 from your square as the thrower. Every other result is inaccurate, which means it scatters d8 3 times from the target. Now, there's a lot of players that have had their passing boosted. There's a couple of players that have had their passing reduced. But what this means is throwing is a little bit more fun. It's a little bit less dangerous, and it becomes more of an option. And we've seen this in our games that actually there's been some key throws, and the throws have not been that bad. It's been like, okay, 5+ with a reroll, and I can score a touchdown here. It makes it way more engaging. Now, it doesn't mean that throwing is the best way to play. Obviously rolling less dice is the best way to win more games of Blood Bowl, but man, making it a fun option is really good. So you've got secure the ball, which is options, and you've got the fact that wildly inaccurate is gone. It's just more options for Blood Bowl. Interceptions have been way simplified, and I wholeheartedly recommend you watch the games on the channel just in case, because now instead of having to do the deflection, it's just if there's you pick a player in the line of fire and they roll a dice. It's -3 if it's an accurate pass, -2 if it's an inaccurate pass, and if they make that agility roll, they get the interception, and that is it. That is all she wrote. So I really like that. It just speeds up the game. So even though passing becomes easier, intercepting becomes easier too, which is just way more exciting. Corner throw-ins as well is a funny little one that has been fixed. It's the worst, right? The ball used to bounce out and then scatter in, and then it was carnage. But now if the last square the ball was on a pitch was a corner one, you take the throw-in template, you turn it diagonally and chuck it in that way. I can't believe we weren't doing that all along. Okay, so we're not going into depth with the teams, but there are a ton of skill changes. In fact, if I was going to summarize this edition in kind of one sentence, the core rules have not changed a huge amount. They're much better, but the teams and the skills and the way you develop the teams have changed a lot, and that's the really interesting and exciting bit. So skill changes. There is a new skill tree added: agility, strength, general, mutation, passing, and now there is devious. This is where stuff like dirty player and things went. We'll cover the new skills in a second, but there is a bunch of new skills added. And this just means that those players like goblins or hobgoblins now just get access to more skills that are suited to their style of play. And it does represent a style of play. I love it. I think it's a great addition. Some of them are really fun, like you can trap your secret weapons. Some of your secret weapons can gain SPP. There's a guard for fouling. It's a really cool addition, and it means that the other skill trees can be buffed up a little bit, which I really do like. So when you're advancing your players, they've lost the random secondaries. So no longer can a goblin take a random general, but if you take a random primary skill, you roll twice and get to pick. That is massively useful. Okay, now where they've separated the skill trees and buffed up the skills, there's not that many skills you're not that interested in having. Like, a lot of it's really good, but what this does mean, like, you take a general, you've got block, dauntless, fend, frenzy, kick, pro, steady footing, strip ball, sure hands, tackle, taunt, wrestle. You roll for 2 of them and you get to pick, and you roll both of them and then you genuinely get to pick. And that just means that your team development is going to be it's just a lot more fun, a lot more speedy, and it's going to be a lot less punishing to roll shadowing straight away. Although, to be fair, they did fix shadowing. Cheaper secondaries and cheaper stat ups. This is wicked. I really love this. So the way skills and skill development goes now is it's 3 SPP for your first skill if it's a random, 6 SPP for a chosen primary skill, and then it is 10 SPP for a chosen secondary. So the first and second secondary skills, basically. So it goes 3, 6, 10, 14 for a stat, 4, 8, 12 for a secondary, 16 for a stat for second level. So basically your secondaries and your stat ups got considerably cheaper, and that's just wonderful. That means your big guy only has to make it to 10 SPP so he can take block, and I think that is going to aid with team development and just make stuff a bit more enticing, because you're going to end up in that environment where, you know, your guy's at 8 SPP and you're like, okay, I can take a primary here, but if I wait one more game, maybe he gets an MVP, maybe he gets another casualty, I can just straight up take a secondary. And I think that's really cool, because there's going to be some times where you get to 10 or 12 SPP and you're like, ooh, I can go for a stat up here. Now, when it goes to stat ups, you roll a random table, very similar to before. In fact, it's exactly the same as before, but if you don't want it, you can pick a secondary or primary of your choice. You've spent the SPP, but basically it just means you can go for it. You can go for it. You can take that risk. So for stat up, on a 1, it's armor. On a 2, it's armor or passing. On a 3 or 4, it's armor, movement or passing. On a 5, it's movement or passing. On a 6, it's edge or movement. On a 7, it's edge or strength. And an 8 is pick your own. So if you want a strength up, it's 7 or 8. If you want movement, it's 3 plus, basically. So you are often going to get something. It's basically a case of, if you roll a 1 and get +1 armor, you just bin that off and choose a secondary or a single skill of your choice. The stats up costs have gone down a bit. So armor's 10, movement's 20, passing's 20, edge is 30, and strength is now only 60. It used to be 80, so it gets a little bit more affordable to kind of brew up, save up, and hope you roll a 7 or an 8 and get that strength for Grail Knight or something. I really like that. I think that works really good. Another thing they've done is they've called out some skills as elite skills. So guard, block, dodge, and mighty blow are all labelled as elite skills, and in league that means that they cost an extra 10k. So if you want to go the block, guard, dodge, spam, then you can. It's just going to mean your team value is inflated even further. Okay, and there is a lot of new skills in the game as well, and I've tried to highlight some of the key ones that have changed or have become skills you can take, but I don't think I've covered them all here. We will cover them in Theory Thursdays as we go along. So hit and run, which was the Amazon power, is now a general skill that you can take. Sorry, an agility skill that you can take, that anyone can take, which is really good. You can see the assassin on the Dark Elf team's got it now as well. It does mean that the gutter runner can also take it. Now he's got stab, so you can build your own assassin, which is okay. Devious, this is wicked. You've got a whole bunch of brand new skills. You've got Eye Gouge, which if you roll a push, it means your opponent, like that player, can't give a support for the rest of their activation. You've got Lethal Flight, which which just hurts people when you throw them at them. Lone Fowler, put the boot in. Quick Foul, these are all fouling skills. So Quick Foul, I think, is the move after fouling. Lone Fowler means if they're fouling on their own, they get +1. Put the boot in means that you get guard to foul. Saboteur means that If you have a secret weapon and you get knocked over, you blow up and take your opponent with you. Shadowing just got better because it just works on a 4+ now. And Violent Innovator is the one where you get SPPs if you commit casualties using a secret weapon. We'll go through the devious skills in more detail in a different video, but there's a lot there to go with. Now, general, you've got steady footing, which is the 6+ save if you fall over or get knocked down. Grail Knights have got it. It's not the best, but it is quite good when it picks off. And taunt is reverse fend. So if a player with taunt gets pushed back, the taunt player gets to choose whether you come along with them. So it's a useful skill. There are going to be some players that really want it. There are going to be some players that really don't. But I mean, it's going to come in handy. You've got Monstrous Mouth in Mutations, which has changed now because if you can chomp players and keep them in place until you get blocked down. You've got the passing skills here where you've got Give and Go, which used to be running pass. Now it's for quick passes or handoffs, and then you can carry on moving after you've handed off the ball or quick pass the ball. That's actually much better than running pass was. So just to be able to hand off and carry on moving is really, really, really key. And punt is going to change up Blood Bowl. I think this is a sneaky good one. So you put the throw-in template down from your player at the end of their move. If they've got the ball, you roll direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you roll a d6 to determine how many squares it goes. Now, and it's not going to be a turnover unless it ends up off the pitch or in the hands of an opponent. So you can knock the ball on and swing round with somebody else and pick it up. Especially when you consider that Secure the Ball is now in action. There's going to be some really fun interactions with punt, and it kind of gives you a ground passing game. Break Tackle got better as a strength skill. It's now +1 or +2 if you're strength 4. Or +3 if you are strength 5 or better. So your big guys, so the Ogres, Edge 4+, means you are dodging on an Edge 1+. The other sneaky thing is that your strength 4 Amazon Berserkers, who are Edge 3+ with dodge, at strength 4 they get +2 to that, so they are also 1+ dodging in. So look out for big players with Break Tackle to be making some really big plays. And Bullseye is a great one. It's a big guy skill. If you are throwing teammate and you roll a superb throw, i.e. you roll a natural 6, the player no longer scatters. So if you are throwing or kicking dudes at a cage, it now got a little bit more interesting, because if you roll that 6, you might just absolutely blat the ball carrier. So the last one we're going to look at is a couple of team special rules that come up. So Brawling Brutes and Team Captain. So Brawling Brutes can be taken by a lot of different teams, and by taken I mean you have to take it. And basically what it does is, as your team develops, it changes how you get SPP. If you are a team with Brawling Brutes, you get 3 SPP for casualties and 2 SPP for touchdowns. And the teams that get that, Black Orcs, gotta love that. And who else has got it? Nope, not those guys, not those guys. Dwarfs get it. They've also got Bribery and Corruption these days. And you've got the Khorne have got it. And Nurgle have got it. Ogres have got it. Orcs have got it. So all of these teams, I think that's it. Yeah, all of those teams are able to just farm casualties for SPPs, which is really going to help their development, and it means that they kind of advance and their players advance better by doing the things that they are designed to do. Now, personally, I would have loved for this to be something you could elect to choose. So if you want to go with a bash heavy Skaven team or a human team or a chaos team, you can do it. But as it stands, it just gives some really good identity to those teams. And the last one here is Team Captain, which Orcs and humans both get. And basically, when you build a roster for a team that has the Team Captain special rule, you pick a non-big guy player on that roster and they become the Team Captain, which means they get Pro. Now, there's a couple of special rules here for the Team Captain. They have to be deployed on the pitch if you are able to deploy them, so you can't just keep them safe on the side. But it also means that while a Team Captain is on the pitch, not only do they have the Pro skill, but if you use a team reroll, just in general, not on them, just in general, on a roll of a 6, you get that back. That does seem pretty good. Let me double check that. As a team captain, immediately gains a pro skill without increasing their cost. Additionally, while your team captain is on the pitch, whenever you use a team reroll, you may roll a d6. On the roll of a 6, the team reroll is free. Okay, like I said, there's a lot of stuff that's changed in this edition of Blood Bowl, but the core rules haven't changed that much. I'm sure there's a couple of things I've not mentioned here that you'll go, oh, that's quite an interesting fact, or that's quite good to know. Drop them in the comments below. And when it comes to all the teams, we've got the 30 teams in 30 minutes video up. Whew, there's some fun changes in there, and we're going to hit them all up as we do the team guides every single day over the next couple of weeks. So let us know in the comments what you think, and we'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking.